Perez Collision Center is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks and Albuquerque Boxing. Perez Collision Center offers expert knowledge on any of your auto body and paint needs. Give them a call today, 505-254-4655, or stop by for a visit at 2415 2nd Street Northwest in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Perez Collision Center.
Local Union 412. Find a career with benefits, not just a job, at UA Local 412 Training Center. We are looking for plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC tech apprentices and journeymen. Call 505-256-9257. Local Union 412.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Red Menace TV here on ProView Network. Lee Lucero along with Michael Carlisle. Michael, how you doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. We're on the, well, I was going to say the eve, but it's not really the eve. At the time of taping, the Lobos will be playing San Diego State tonight.
Right.
Number 4, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Of course, the Lobos, we don't know because at this time they haven't announced whether Jaquan Lyle and Jackson are going to be back. Man.
Yeah.
The last game without those two individuals, I mean, I already kind of bragging Caldwell. We don't have to keep mentioning them. I don't think in every report because you already know they're not going to be back.
Well, you know for sure Bragg's not because he's been dismissed from the team. It's probably a safe bet you're not going to see Caldwell.
I thought Coach Weir had mentioned in one of the reports last week that more than likely Caldwell's not going to be back.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't been officially dismissed, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah. I don't think you're seeing him back.
Yeah. So I think I've already discounted them as like they're not back. But obviously without Jackson and Lyle, they went up to Nevada and promptly got their tails handed to them.
Well, and they did, but you could kind of see that coming. The Lobos, even at full strength, are what you might call a really good perimeter defensive team. Nevada lives at the three-point line. I mean, it was really a recipe for disaster for the Lobos going into this game. And look, Nevada lived up to their reputation. They rained threes all game long and, frankly, just had too much talent for the Lobos.
And you know, even with Lyle and Jackson playing, the Lobos just look like a complete different team at this point. I mean, the chemistry's off. I think Grammer had that article about next man up.
Yeah.
The column, and I mean it sounds good, but the reality is, you know, when you had two guys that were kind of like your core.
Sure. Oh no, look, it's huge to have those guys. As far as chemistry goes, chemistry looked pretty good last Tuesday night. Now I get it; they were playing San Jose State, but still, I don't think it's a chemistry thing. I think they miss those guys for sure, and when it changes the dynamic of what you do so much. All of a sudden, you've only, with Lyle and Jackson out and then the other two, you've got one big guy, and you don't want him getting in foul trouble, so that hampers his defense a little bit. But, you know, when they focus on that, which Nevada did a really good job at, and force you to the outside yourself, and that's not your strong suit, yeah, you're going to look out of sorts because that's not what you're accustomed to doing. I don't think, when you talk about chemistry, I don't think it's a situation where they don't like each other or don't get along or don't mesh. I just think there's some teams you play, and you may see it again tonight with San Diego State, where when they force you out of your comfort zone, yeah, you do look somewhat out of sorts, and you're not as successful at what you want to do because that's not what you're accustomed to.
Now the Lobos are 13-0, correct, at home?
14-0.
14-0, thank you. 14-0 at home.
Yep.
San Diego State's number 4. You looked up the number and you said it was 11?
Yep.
San Diego
State's favored by 11.
Point favorites. What do you think? What are your thoughts, Michael Carlisle, on tonight's game?
I think tonight's going to be a tough game. I think, look, hopefully you see some of that Pitt magic. It does seem like the Lobos play better at home, so certainly the road has not been their friend this year. So hopefully, at the very least, it's a close game, and if it's a close game, you never know. But let's be honest, when you're down 4 starters and you're playing the 4th-ranked team in the country, again, that recipe typically doesn't pan out to success.
Well, it is interesting because after the Nevada game, and I mean, let's be honest, it was Steve Alford, Craig Neal. That was a little bit of a big deal. I don't think that was as a big deal in Nevada as it was here.
Sure.
And you know, obviously when they got blued out, people were freaking out on Twitter, of course. But I think Twitter is the place where everyone freaks out. But it's just like you have to look, and it's like.
You ever see anything positive on Twitter?
Not very much.
Yeah, very rarely.
I mean, I have with the Lobo football team as of late.
Sure.
They've been using that thing like it's like magic the way they're doing it. But we'll talk about that in a second. But you know, I mentioned and I said, you know, you're running a 7-man rotation, and that's kind of what the Lobos were running.
Yeah, basically.
And I said, and then you have 5 starters. Okay, you take out 4 of the 7.
That leaves you with 3.
Yes. And then starters, you started with 5, and now you have 1. Well, let's go 1 because you can't go like that because that's like a thumbs up.
Well, like almost like
that.
that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
You take out 4, that leaves you with like 1 guy that was starting, right? Wow. And it just like that changes the whole complexity of this team.
Wow.
It changes there's no the chemistry, I think, is still not quite there. And when I say chemistry, I'm talking about on the court. I think they like each other. But I just think that it's just hard to replace 4 of your 5 starters and 4 of your 4 of
we
3.
We didn't even need flashcards, dude, and we got those math problems.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. And I'm terrible at math, but it's just like it's just unbelievable, and it's just like it does not shock me that this team is struggling.
No, absolutely not. Because again, when you take away the talent that they're missing right now, again for a variety of reasons, you know, any team in the country, whether you're talking your Dukes, Kansas, Kentucky's, and all that, whatever, or you're talking more on this level, you take away 4 guys again for a variety of reasons who do so much, you know, on the court. Yeah, at some point in time, you can't keep taking guys away and expect the same results. It's going to start having an effect, and you know, without the 2 that are suspended and or dismissed, and now the 2 with injuries, you're taking away a lot of production, a lot of rebounds, a lot of assists,
and points.
Dare I say, some of your better defenders, and already, you know, that wasn't necessarily one of your strong suits. Yeah. You're certainly going to suffer, and they've taken their lumps at times.
Do you think it's a coach's fault in that situation? And I guess maybe I don't know if you guys
that 2 players are hurt.
Well, no,
I don't think so.
No, so I mean, you know, people are like, well, you know, Weird took a chance on these guys, and blah 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 blah.
But hold on though.
Yeah. I'm just asking. I'm playing devil's advocate.
Name me the last Lobo coach that didn't take chances.
Right, you have to. That's New Mexico.
At this, well, not just New Mexico. At this level, you do kind of have to. Now, you hope for the best, and you certainly do your vetting before you offer them and all that, and you hope they've changed, and you hope things, you know, that they've turned themselves around. But that comes with the territory when you do take chances on guys. But again, that's not something that Paul Weir instituted at UNL. I'm going to take chances on players. Hell, that's been going on for forever.
Well, you do that. I mean, let's be honest. You're not going to get that level of player here out of high school. I mean, it's not going to happen. I mean, the schools that these young men came from, I mean, that's reality. Reality is if you're going to get guys from Ohio State and these other schools that they had originally signed with, you're not getting them out of high school. New Mexico's just not. Lobo fan has to realize that, you know, kind of like know your role, stay in your lane, understand who you are. And it's just like, but some of the better players at New Mexico throughout the decades have been transfers. I mean, Ruben Douglas, Danny Granger, Hobson. It just goes on and on and on. I mean, these are your better players. What's his face? I can't even think of his name. Came from UCLA. Gordon, and it escapes me. Anyway, those are your better players.
Sure.
You gamble. You take chances.
You have to.
It didn't work out, and unfortunately, it didn't work out with the other 2. And then, of course, the story broke what is there, over the weekend about the party and someone getting shot. And we talked a little bit about this off the air. I don't necessarily, it's not Jaquan Lyle's fault that someone was shot at the party. Dude!
Right, unless he ordered a hit or something.
Right.
Which I seriously doubt. Yeah, I don't know that Lyle did anything wrong other than use poor judgment. You think about this, everything that's gone on with this program. Why not wait a couple of months till the season's over, and then throw your big party then? Something happens, well, you're not with the team anymore. So,
or if you're going to throw a rager and you're renting an Airbnb to do so, have someone else use their credit card. Don't use yours. You can give them the cash, but have them use their credit card. Take your name away from it. And
I agree.
And honestly, in all these situations, just take your name out of there, and then you don't have to worry.
I agree.
You know, it's like, I agree with you, and I think if you look at each case separate, okay, it happened, but it's just that they all kind of came at once. So with the influx of all of it, I think that's the problem. I don't see anything like suspension or anything like that.
I don't think so, because again, other than he should have used better judgment, he didn't. It does not appear he did anything wrong. As far as we know, he wasn't the one doing any shooting. He didn't escalate any arguments. Again, should he have used better judgment? Yeah, he should have. But if you're going to punish college kids for going to parties or throwing parties on the weekend, there are going to be a lot of college kids across this country that get punished every single weekend.
I mean, on the other side, you're not a regular college kid, and that's where the thing is. You're not a regular college student. You know, you're getting all the accolades for being a athlete, and in this case, Lobo basketball, the biggest game in town. You're going to receive the accolades. There's a sacrifice that you're going to have to make in order to receive those accolades.
Right.
You can't sit there and say, I should be treated like a regular college person, because you're not.
You're not, but at the same time, do you think every weekend when there are parties on campuses and off campuses all over the country, that there are only regular students there?
No, I agree with you.
I mean, again, I get where you're coming from, and certainly it winds up, because of what happened, being a bad look. First, no doubt about that. But at least from what we know now, he or any of the other student athletes who were there don't seem to have done anything wrong. So, I mean, I guess you could punish him for using bad judgment if you really wanted to and you felt like you needed to. But based on what we know now, I don't know that he did anything wrong.
I agree with you. I do.
He should have been smarter about it, for sure. But, I mean, I don't know.
And I guess it's break time, isn't it, Alden? I guess we would have to say, as we go to the break and we'll come back, this is for all ages. Nothing really good happens after midnight. And honestly, at 2 a.m.,
that's not entirely,
nothing happens good after 2 a.m.
True, Leroy. That's not.
Oh, it's true.
No,
it's true.
Sir.
We'll be back after this.
Creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the three, and he buries it.
Could be coming in soon. Double pick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window. Scores it as foul.
Right here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish. What a...
Around the screen, against White, step back, it's blocked! JB with the block!
In transition, ahead to hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go, they've got a shot, they have a chance, and it's put up, and it's good! What a three that is by Jalen.
Hidon puts it up.
Rebound Cowboys. Right side, David Hall. Don't you
Cowboys. Domina Lovato lays it up, missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Lusses. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by DJ Bustos. Cowboys win. Cowboys win.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide Coaches Award Program, and providing multiple professional development opportunities for New Mexico's coaches. Be a great coach by coaching beyond the game.
Gecko's Bar and Tapas, a proud supporter of ProView Networks. It's been a fan favorite spot for food lovers and sports fans. With not one, but two great locations, including outdoor patio, an atmosphere you won't want to miss. Gecko's, off Academy and in Nob Hill.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
All right, welcome back to Red Menace TV. So we kind of touched on it a little bit. Lobo football under Danny Gonzalez. Obviously, the big news of the week was Rocky Long was hired as the defensive coordinator. Now, he kind of alluded to it that he had offered him. And I remember I asked him off the air, I said, is this just a PR stunt or is this like a legit? And he goes, no, it's a legit thing. I still didn't believe it.
Oh, no, I believed it. I just didn't think it would happen for a variety of reasons. Now, again, when Rocky left here, the administration at the time.
When he was run from here.
Sure. However you want to put it.
Well, that's what Danny said when we were fired.
No, I know. He did say that. Most of those people are gone. But I wasn't sure how well that would be received by the administration. Also, I wondered, and Rocky alluded to this in conversations with Danny, if Danny really thought about it, do you want to be overshadowed by, the guy who was arguably the most successful coach here in program history? You think things start struggling, well, why don't they just switch places?
Yeah.
Danny can be the defense coordinator and make Rocky things like that. Obviously, nothing like that concerned Danny. He values the relationship he has with Rocky, the 20-plus years they've worked together, and with what he wants to instill here, he felt like Rocky was the best person to have on staff to help him get that accomplished. Personally, I do think it's wonderful. I'm ecstatic that Rocky's back. I love, I think Lobo football is doing a lot of things right now. I asked you earlier, is there anything good ever on Twitter? Lobo football is getting a lot of love on social media and in the community, and just hopefully they can continue that going into the season, and it results in more butts in the seats. And as this program grows and goes in the direction that the staff wants, the fans continue to get behind it and get more and more excited. But yeah, there's a ton of buzz on Lobo football right now.
It's kind of crazy, and I mentioned that, of course, on Local Focus with Sebastian Noel. Las Lunas' Bryce Santana committed on the air with him. And so Bryce put Red Menace TV, at Red Menace TV, my Twitter, on there. And I mean, it blew up. I mean, hundreds and hundreds of people retweeting, congratulating, everything, local player. excitement. You mentioned all the coaches have a Twitter. I made a joke. I wonder if Rocky's going to get a Twitter handle. Rocky never loved technology, but I do give him credit because he told me one time, I was like, Rocky, I'm trying to call these kids and they don't answer the phone. He goes, you got to text them. This is back. Yeah. This is like 14 years ago, 15 years ago.
Now you got to hit him up on Twitter.
You got to him up on Twitter. But it was so funny because I was like, I call him. He goes, yeah. He goes, and he told me I had to get a GA to teach me how to hit how to tweet or text at that point. So I looked. He does have a Twitter with San Diego State, but I think the last tweet was 4 years ago. So, I just thought that was kind of funny. But all the other coaches, even Coach Reffett, who was kind of old school too, they all have a Twitter. Yeah. They're using graphics. Obviously, UNM's using graphics, and people are kind of responding and getting excited. And it just like the retweets, everything else, recruits. Obviously, recruits now. Back in the day when I had the redmenace.com, I would do the work and find out who the recruits, call them, and break those stories. Now the kids are doing it, or the young
kids
men
are doing it. The coaches are doing it.
Well, the coaches can't, but they're just like yes, we received a commitment, and then everyone's like, all right, who is it? And then we wait for the young man. According to Virgin, he says there's 14 commitments, but only 8 now, 9 today. Have committed to UNM verbally via Twitter. So that still leaves 5, right? 14 minus 9 is 5. See, I told you I wasn't good at math. Yeah. Well, I'm not in the math program, okay? In fact, when it got to statistics, I was like, no, thank you.
This is simple arithmetic, though. This is
I know.
Dude, it's not fractions.
Trust me. So we got 5 left that have not verbally committed on Twitter. But I just think it's amazing, and fans are kind of jumping up on it and everything else. So it's really cool. I've got people contacting me now. Are we going to put the YAFL program back together? And I think we probably will in some form or fashion. And I'm kind of, now that we're kind of off season, getting that all together. Spring practice starts soon. Yeah. And let's see what kind of excitement's drummed up at that point.
Right.
One recruit that I thought might have come to UNM but decided not to, he's going to go to Coffeyville Junior College, is Cleveland's Dorian Lewis, the running back. He was a Gatorade Player of the Year 2 years ago, it was 2 years ago, prior to his knee injury, but I guess he's going to go the JUCO route. I understand he has good grades, and he could do like 1 year and then have
3
take that chance to go P5 or whatever. Kind of an interesting way to go about it, but he could always come to New Mexico. But kind of like we talked about the basketball team, you're not going to beat out P5 schools in basketball for the most part. It's the same way here with football, and so if he goes there,
in a lot of instances,
I mean, if he goes there and his knee shows good, then he's going to end up with a P5 deal because he is that good. If his knee doesn't respond, he could always come to UNM back, and I'm sure they would take him. But it's interesting. Everything that Danny told us here a couple weeks ago is exactly the way they're doing. They've got one JUCO kid, and they got one grad transfer so far, both on offensive lines, on the offensive line, both filling holes that they had. So, I mean, it's everything he said, and it's just like I laughed. I said, dude doesn't do a lot of coach speak. I mean, he just like lays it out there, and boom. As far as Rocky, I agree with you. I mean, Lobo fans, you're just going to have to chill. I think they'll win some games this year. They're not going to win them all, obviously, and they've got 2 of the body bag games, but they're going to win some games. But after that, and Danny said that there's kind of like, because of they have quite a few seniors this year. But after that, but when they start losing a game or 2 or 3 in a row, let's not do the.
Well, I think what you're going to see at the very least, starting this year, you're not going to see the Lobos get pushed around on the field. But between Danny Gonzalez, between Rocky Long, Linsmeyer, the rest of the staff, I don't think the Lobos are going to get out physical, pushed around, anything like that. And let's be honest, the last few years, that wasn't always the case. So at the very least, they're going to be tougher. I think they're going to be a lot more competitive. It's a lot harder to turn a football program around than it is a basketball program. It takes longer. With basketball, you can bring in a couple of guys, and boom, your fortunes can change right away. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. But yeah, I think what? It's true.
You weren't here when Dennis Franchione coached, did you?
No.
That was his big saying. That's why I laughed.
Well, it's true. He was a wise man, quite obviously.
Yes.
But it is. It's going to take some time. But I think you're going to see progress right out of the gate. Now, how much that results in wins, we'll have to see. But I think you're going to see a much more competitive football team at the very least, starting in year one.
Absolutely. Just let's switch gears real quick. Sports world was rocked with Kobe Bryant and his daughter, and obviously it was a junior college coach, I believe, and hitting a mountain in a helicopter and passing away. Kind of wild, huh? I mean, I think he's the first big, huge sports name in this era that passed away with social media and Twitter.
It was Sunday was tough, and I actually saw the TMZ tweet about 2 minutes after they put it out, and I'm like, that's weird because Kobe was in the news over the weekend because LeBron had passed him on the all-time scoring list, and I thought, I don't know, I wonder if TMZ got hacked. So I tried to click on the link, and there was a lot of problems getting the story come up. It would come up bad gateway or hey, we're having site problems. Click here to try again. And I thought, I wonder if they got hacked because this is just so crazy. It's just something you wouldn't expect. But you keep looking around and looking at other sources, and they start reporting the same thing. And then you start seeing confirmations that, yes, Kobe was on board. There were no survivors. And then you find out his daughter was on there as well.
And before that, they said all his daughters were on.
Yeah, there were a lot of reports out there. There was reports that Rick Fox was on the helicopter, which he wasn't. But, when you find out, 9 people in all pass away, including Kobe and including his daughter, that was tough.
Yeah, and it's, just the love of Kobe Bryant. And I know there were some people that talked about his past, and he had some issues. Everyone has issues. But just that he turned those issues around, and became this person. Obviously we all know him for playing basketball, but it was the person of Kobe Bryant, I think, that touched a lot of people and some of the stuff like that. So, it was it was weird. My daughter sent me the text and I'm like, I don't know, because how many guys and gals have we seen that are like, oh, blah blah passed away, and then you find out, hey, this was a hoax or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think a lot of people spent Sunday thinking it was a hoax the whole Sunday.
At least the early part, when the news first started coming out, you're like, there's no way. Then you find out, it happened.
So a big move to kind of change the logo of the NBA. You think that happens or no?
No. Well, look, who knows? I think the NBA will certainly do something to honor Kobe. The NBA, probably more so than any of the other sports leagues, has their pulse on their players, their fans. I don't know that you need to change the logo of the league to honor him, but I could absolutely see the league doing something, retiring his number or numbers league-wide. You've already seen a lot of players are changing their numbers who are wearing 8 or 24 to honor him. The Mavericks have said, they're going to retire his numbers in honor of him. The league will certainly do something. I don't know that.
Well, I think they moved up the Hall of Fame induction, did they not?
Well, he was on the ballot. They just haven't announced it, but they just hadn't announced who got in. But yeah, he was going to get in anyway.
Either way.
But they're going to put him in.
So we only have a minute left. Big game in Miami.
There's a big game this weekend?
Yeah, what is it?
What sport?
Yeah, football. Kansas City and
football, like soccer, football?
Not football, but football. Kansas City and some other team. San Francisco.
That's this weekend?
It is. It's Sunday, right?
I'll be doggone.
Do you feel any excitement on this game?
That sounds like a super game to me.
Yeah. Do you feel excitement for this game or not really?
Yeah.
Do you?
And I'll say, there's a lot of excitement around this game.
Okay.
For sure.
All right. I think the excitement is, does Pat Mahomes step up and become the #1 quarterback in the entire NFL?
He might already be, but certainly getting that first championship would really validate him. But it's a really interesting matchup. I believe as we tape today, the Chiefs are favored by 1.5, and I suspect it'll close somewhere right around it in that area, maybe a little less, maybe a smidge more. But they're fairly evenly matched teams. Now, that they go about their business a little differently. But, to answer your question, there's a lot of buzz.
Okay. I like Pat Mahomes. How could you not like him? He
Right.
seems like a good young man. You know,
he sounds like a cartoon character when he talks.
Yeah, I mean, he just, I don't know, and then he's kind of got that, like, just, he's at a different level, I think, when he plays.
For sure.
You know, and I have a feeling that I think Kansas City's going to run away with it. I don't think they're out of the game, and I think they've shown that in the playoffs. They're not out of any game.
No, they were down 24-0 and had taken the lead by halftime.
Right, and I mean, it just
against
seems
the
like
Texans,
they can flip the switch at any time, and boom, it's on.
And you know, Mahomes and Lamar Jackson with the Ravens, two of the most exciting quarterbacks in the NFL, and you've seen it in these playoffs with how quickly the Chiefs can score, not just score and score a lot of points, but how quickly they do it. Yeah, this is going to be a fun game on Sunday.
It'll be exciting.
Yeah.
All right, that's it for Alden Iowani. For Michael Carlisle, this is Leroy. I mispronounced your name, Michael Carlisle. This is Leroy Lucero. We'll see you next week. God bless you all.
Right? College kid.
What is glamour? Frailty. What is desire? Diamonds. They say a life lived without passion is hardly worth living.
Ma'am? Ma'am? Ma'am?
Dang, this one made me feel all special.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Don't sacrifice quality and flavor when you're in a hurry. Golden Pride offers ribs, fried chicken, green and red chili breakfast burritos, and Frontier Cinnabons. 4 great locations, or visit us online at goldenpride@abq.com. Golden Pride Barbecue Chicken and Ribs, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network. Car Crafters, proud supporter of ProView Sports Network.
Are you sure we're supposed to be doing this?
Don't worry, I've watched him do it 1,000 times. Come on, what's the worst that can happen?
No! Bad dog!
Hi, welcome to Car Crafters. What happened?
Don't worry, we'll make it like it never happened.
Car Crafters! It's like it never happened!
Sadie's is a proud supporter of New Mexico high school sports and athletics, and we here at ProView Networks would like to thank Sadie's for their continued support in helping us bring you all of your New Mexico high school sports coverage.
Jackson Compaction wants to help you keep your green and keep the community green as well. Jackson Compaction has worked hard to maintain the same prices since day one. Always easy and painless trash removal with professional crews and quality service. If it's non-hazardous waste, debris, or trash on your land, leave it to us. At Jackson Compaction, we're dedicated to ensuring the conservation of our environment. You trash it, we smash it. Jackson Compaction, we've earned a reputation for great results.
St. Clair Winery and Bistro has been renamed in honor of our founders, the Lascombe family. D.H. Lascombe Winery and Bistro continues to deliver the same exceptional wine and food experience you've come to expect since 2005. Visit us today, D.H. Lascombe Winery and Bistro.
Stop living with summer heat. Get a super efficient AC systems from Sunshine Plumbing and Heating and eliminate all worry for a full 10 years. Now that's a bold guarantee. Call now and get your free system design consultation and learn more about how our bold guarantee can help eliminate your worry for a full 10 years. Comfort you can afford. Call Sunshine Plumbing today, 296-3188.
Is this my car? State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous!
there's one of these.
Is this my car?
What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening!
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up!
That's why State Farm is there, with car insurance for when things go wrong, but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
Talk to State Farm agent Marty Size or Michelle Rudolph in Albuquerque today.
Folks, there's no other way but to be all in. Either he's Lord of all or he is not Lord at all. And you can experience the real and authentic, true life change that only God can provide to humanity. See, when we truly encounter Jesus and purpose to know him and follow his teachings, hashtag life change will occur.
Get into the game with Garden Swartz Team Sales. They have everything you need, from screen printing, embroidery, and digital printing services, high school letterman jackets, and all high school and club uniforms, and individual and team apparel with the most reliable brands like Speedline, Rollins, and Wilson. And don't forget to check out the latest F7 Shut helmet. It's all at Garden Swartz Team Sales. Give them a call, 505-884-1234. Garden Swartz Team Sales.
The world-famous Laguna Burger is beautifully handcrafted. A burger that's created from certified Angus beef, sinfully cooked to juicy perfection, and garnished with New Mexico's Hatch green chili.
Stop living with summer heat. Get a super efficient AC systems from
Perez Collision Center is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks and Albuquerque Boxing. Perez Collision Center offers expert knowledge on any of your auto body and paint needs. Give them a call today, 505-254-4655, or stop by for a visit at 2415 2nd Street Northwest in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Perez Collision Center.
Local Union 412. Find a career with benefits and not just a job at UA Local 412 Training Center. We are looking for plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC tech apprentices and journeymen. Call 505-256-9257. Local Union 412.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association, established in 1941, is an organization of New Mexico's best and most professional interscholastic coaches. Coaches across work daily to help our student athletes excel in the classroom, on the field of play, and in our communities. Students that participate in interscholastic activities attain higher grades, higher graduation rates, and higher wages. Responsible for the North-South All-Star Games, statewide coaches award program, and providing multiple professional development.
Perez Collision Center is a proud sponsor of ProView Networks and Albuquerque Boxing. Perez Collision Center offers expert knowledge on any of your auto body and paint needs. Give them a call today, 505-254-4655, or stop by for a visit at 2415 2nd Street Northwest in Albuquerque, New Mexico. Perez Collision Center.
Local Union 412. Find a career with benefits and not just a job at UA Local 412 Training Center. We are looking for plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC tech apprentices and journeymen. Call 505-256-9257. Local Union 412.
Welcome to the place where we talk about people getting punched in the face. This is Cage Minds, and we're going to start off today
talking about the sweet science. Can't start off that without talking about Thursday night on DAZN. There's Miami Fight Night. You can tune in, again, on DAZN. The second fight will have some local ties for us here in New Mexico. Former King of the Cage MMA star Donald Sanchez stepping into the ring, taking on an unbeaten foe there, taking on Austin Williams. You've got a couple title fights. Daniel Roman defending his IBF and ABA junior featherweight title, not to mention Tevin Farmer and Joseph Diaz Jr., the main event for Farmer's IBF junior lightweight title. So that's going to be a good one on Thursday night for some midweek action. Now, as far as the local scene goes, our next upcoming event is taking place Saturday, February 8th, Holmes Boxing, Cold War 5 at the Marriott Pyramid North. And joining us is going to be an action on that card, leaving the cage, stepping into the ring right now with us, the Bullet, Andreas Quintana. Sir, thank you for the time. How are you doing?
Of course, I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Man, so tell everybody about what's happening. Normally we see you in the cage, but this time stepping into the ring.
You know, I'm basically just trying to stay active. You know, I love MMA, but boxing was my first love, so I kind of got the opportunity. I work with Coach Sergio all the time, and you know, he's all, "You're good enough to box, so let's do it."
How long had you guys been kicking this idea around?
Probably the last year or two, but I've been super heavily involved in MMA, of course. As you guys know, I competed in the tournament, and I had 9 fights in Combate Americas in the past 2 years, so I was kind of busy.
So right now, is there a lack of communication or a lack of options for you with Combate America?
Yeah, somewhat. You know, we're kind of trying to go about it the right way, of course. You know, so my manager takes care of all of that, and I was like, well, you know, I need some income. You know, I don't think MMA, I can't fight in any other MMA organization, so why don't we try boxing?
So boxing is something feasible. You're allowed to do that with your contract. Kickboxing would be the same thing?
I believe I had to get permission, but my manager, of course, handled all that. But yeah, I think it's 2 different sports, so, you know, why not?
Okay, so what happens when the mindset changes to, you know, you have a fight and you're jumping back into the ring? You've had one professional fight, what was it, 9 years ago, I believe, as a boxer?
9 or 10 years ago, yeah.
How's it feel to be a boxer again?
It's cool, you know, I quit boxing because it's super political, and, you know, you just got to know the right people. But I've always loved it, and when I was a kid, I've always wanted to be a boxer. But MMA kind of just took over at some time and point, and I'm super excited to jump back in and actually, you know, try my hand at boxing again.
How different of a camp and a structure of a camp is this? I guess the grappling, the wrestling, it's not needed as much.
No, I don't think at all. Unless I want to get disqualified and banned forever. But yeah, no, it's not needed at all. The camp's pretty different. A lot more road work, a lot more of one-on-one coaching. We have set sparring days. Like I did in MMA, but like it's kind of like, oh, well, we're going to go 4 rounds, 5 rounds in MMA, but every round you're going to get a new person, and the time's different, you know. In boxing, we go 3 minutes, get a lot more rest. I feel like my cardio's even better, if that's even possible, in boxing. So,
I know you spent already a lot of time with Coach Sergio. So does that mean it's increased that much more as he's your main boxing coach?
It honestly has, just because that's our main focus right now. You know, we do a lot of boxing in MMA for my style, but you know, this is pure boxing right now, so I'm not really doing too much MMA. You know, I'm still kind of trying to stay sharp, but I have a good friend that came in from Mexico City that's competing on the UFC card here, and I'm trying to help him out as much as I can, you know, with his get-ups, with different things, some takedowns, and so I'm still in the MMA scene and still learning as well.
Have you brought in any different training partners then for the boxing?
Yeah. We've been sparring with Willie Villanueva. He's actually related to me. He's my close cousin, to be honest. So he's a great asset to the team, and he doesn't come every day, but whenever I need him for sparring, and he'll come and train with us every now and then.
Now, your last venture into the boxing world wasn't even you, really. You know, your brother had a bunch of fights. I know you were there in his corner. He was unsuccessful, but some of them were those political kind of decisions.
Yeah.
How does that play into your mentality and your game plan going into this fight?
You know, basically, Mike, I'm a finisher, so I'm going to go in there, I'm going to try and stop my opponent just like I always have in MMA. I have a pretty high percentage finish rates, so I'm not too sure what that is, but it's a lot. So I'm always going to go in there, I'm going to try and stop my opponent.
Looking for that knockout, going in there hungry. How much of a different game is there now? You don't have the elbows, you don't have the kicks, it's a different stance. So how different of a world is it getting into the boxing ring from MMA?
It is different, but I'm very familiar with it because I do it basically every day. And I feel like my MMA style is based around my my boxing style, to go to say. You know, there's a little bit different things, like I'll have to change levels a little bit differently. I don't have to worry about the takedowns and stuff, so whenever I change levels, I'm looking for more offensive.
And it's a return to your roots. For those that don't know, boxing was where you started, right?
Yeah. I have over 30 amateur boxing fights, been to nationals, been to everything, so, you know, like I said, it's my first love.
When did you fall in love with the sweet science?
I had my first fight at 12, so a little bit before that, probably about 10 years old in El Paso. I grew up boxing on the streets with my friends, and you know, I was just kind of got obsessed about being better than everyone, being able to win, being able to beat everyone. And MMA to me didn't exist at the time, so all it was boxing.
Who were the guys at that time that inspired you, that you were looking up to?
I basically studied Muhammad Ali for the most part, just because, you know, he was the biggest name at the time that I thought of. And then as I grew older, I studied Floyd Mayweather a ton, as you guys probably can tell in my MMA fights.
And now, how much of your MMA style are you still able to transition into the boxing technique?
A good amount, but I'm more cautious. You know, I have to be a lot closer, so I always have more in boxing. I'm keeping my hands up a lot more. In MMA, I'm kind of more relaxed because I'm able to do different things, but it is different. So, you know, more defensive fighter, I guess you can say.
The opponent's going to be Angel Villanueva. Were you able to find out anything? I believe it's his pro debut, so a pretty open book, or not much to know about him, right?
Yeah, I know nothing about the kid, but I'm the A side. He's coming to my hometown. I'm the veteran. Not just because it's not in boxing. I have a ton of fights in MMA. I've been there, you know, almost 75, 80 times, so I'm not too worried about him.
You've competed in combat sports a ton. Between amateur and professional, we're getting close to 60 fights, right?
Probably a little bit more because I had 15 amateur MMA as well on top of that.
Is there an emotional factor, though, to this one? You were supposed to fight here for Combate America. The card was on you. It didn't happen. And now you're returning to fight here in Albuquerque.
It is, but it's a little bit different. It's a smaller venue, I understand, and it's not for a world title. So I'm super excited just to be home, to be honest. You know, kind of get my feet wet here again. I would love to fight here again very soon. You know, my contract with Combate is coming up, and, you know, maybe we could work something out.
Andreas the Bullet Quintana, part of a great boxing card coming up. Holmes Boxing, Cold War 5, CageMinds.com. We have the full article, the full fight card available. We're going to slide away for a moment. We'll be back and talk about some MMA in just a moment.
Creates space. He gives it off to Rivas for the three, and he buries it.
Gonna be coming in soon. Double kick set for Avalos. Goes to the right. Avalos puts it up high. Window. Scores it as foul.
Right here by Lewis all the way, coast to coast, and finish.
What a...
Around the screen, against White, step back, it's blocked! JB with the block!
In transition, ahead to hit on for the two-hand hammer.
Minutes to go, they've got a shot, they have a chance, and it's put up, and it's good! What a three that is by Jalen.
Puts it up.
Rebound Cowboys. Right side David Hall. Thank you very much. Here come the Cowboys. Lamina Lovato lays it up. Missed it. Hey, how about it? Thank you, Lusses. Thank you very much, Raquan Mitchell. Clock at 6. They get it. Barnes Tompkins fires. Yes! Pass up court. This for the win. Blocked by DJ Bustos. Cowboys win. Cowboys win.
Welcome back. Last weekend, the UFC was in North Carolina. Got some highlights. Want to touch on those real quick. Fun card. I mean, undersold fight night there on ESPN+, but this one was action-packed. Being the first fight, a knockout in the first round. A great debut for Gilbert Burns. The TKO with the knee up the middle. You can see him celebrating, I think, in the next slide that we have ready. Yep, there it is. Celebrating. I could not get one of the knee, but making quick work in the UFC debut. We continue on up the card, and it's a much-needed submission victory for Brett Johns. Had lost 2 in a row at bantamweight. Once he had cracked that top 10, big win getting Tony Gravely out of there quickly. Then we jump up to the featured prelim fight. And Bavon Lewis, who was training here at Jackson Winks for a good while, picks up his first UFC win. Beautiful striking display, outpointed Daquan Townsend. And then in the third round, grit and bared through an obvious knee injury. A big win for Bavon Lewis. Go on up to the main card. Angela Overkill Hill continues her rise. There we're showing her striking. She was able to get Hannah Cyphers to the ground, mounted, and then bludgeoned elbows. Beautiful sharp elbows, the TKO victory. I'm sorry, Andreas, I think this next one might hurt. We continue on the highlights, and unfortunately, yeah, not happy about it. Jordan Espinosa suffers the technical submission loss. I mean, really got to give credit to Alex Pettis. Some kind of great squeeze, the head and arm choke from half guard. Pettis, a big win there. As he gets into the top 10 probably as the rankings come out. The co-main event, Michael Chiesa just destroying the welterweight rankings. Ragdolls Rafael Dos Anjos. Dos Anjos was able to get out of a lot of bad positions and get on top, but then Chiesa just would stand right up, overwhelming power and size advantage. Chiesa looks like a whole lot to deal with at 170 pounds. Loved his call out of Kobe Covington, if Covington's healthy enough to fight him in July. We're going up to the main event. And if you would have told me there was a standing TKO, there's no way I would have told you Curtis Blades is doing it. Bad fight IQ from the former heavyweight champion. A lead power uppercut, not a good idea. Curtis Blades taking advantage of the opportunity with a quicker overhand, scores the TKO victory of Dos Santos. Unfortunately for Blades, there's not much room to go up, though, in the rankings, but a great win nonetheless. We also had some Bellator action on Saturday night. They were in LA. We can start off those highlights by talking about Aaron Pico jumping back into the win column. I'm talking about just a disgusting left hand taking out Daniel Kelly. When Aaron Pico wins, it's phenomenal. And so far, when he's lost, it's been phenomenal. Non-stop entertainment from that young prospect. We jump on up to the main card. Sergio Pettis was able to choke the life right there out of his opponent. A great debut. And I think we know what's next as we head to the next slide. What should be next for Pettis? He was the high-price free agent. Pat Mix from Jackson Winks is 3-0 under Bellator. That bantamweight title is vacant. Hurry up, Bellator. Make this title fight.
That would be cool.
Bellator featherweight Grand Prix action. Darian Caldwell takes Adam Borish's undefeated record, got the back quick rear naked choke victory. I think this is a lot better for Caldwell being at 45. He looked like a skeleton at 135. I can't wait to see his next fight, which they announced at the Bellator event, will be against AJ McKee. That is probably the most excited I could be for a Bellator fight. These two guys. This is the best thing Bellator has going right now. Can't wait to see what happens. Then we get up to the main event. And Chris Cyborg, she's not the one-shot knockout artist killer she once was, but she's still better than most of the field. An overwhelming striking display from Cyborg, fighting her way out of the clinch earlier. Once separating, I love the combinations, and ending with a leg kick, demoralizing Julia Budd. And you now have history made as Cyborg becomes the first MMA fighter to win 4 world titles, 4 different promotions, dominance throughout a decade. Now, as for this weekend's action, we turn our attention over to UFC Fight Pass. There's only one big MMA event, and that's going to be LFA 81. You've got some other featherweight action going on. Jamal Emmers, Rafael Barbosa, both have been on Dana White's looking for a fight. Go to cageminds.com as we have a ton of great interviews up for that card, including with Vanessa Demopoulos, Vincent Cachero, and also Adrian Morales. So now we're going to turn our attentions back over to Andreas Quintana for our last couple minutes. Dude, why is a lead power uppercut a bad idea in MMA? Just explain that to the folks real quick.
It leaves you open for a lot of different things, you know. So I don't really throw a lead uppercut unless I'm kind of like moving out of the way and making sure I'm safe.
And is there a difference also with it being the power side and being your jab side?
Yeah, it's a huge difference. With the lead hand, it just leaves you wide open. As I'm here, you know, a lot of times people like to bring down their left hand, their lead uppercut, and it leaves me really open with head kicks, overhands, hooks, everything. So I prefer to throw my power. Boom. You know, keep it kind of simple.
And what JDS did on the night was he tried to make it look like Rocky, and he was trying to knock out the skylights. It was a bad idea. I mean, that one was ruthless.
And a lot of times people like to throw it from the hip in MMA, and I don't know why that's incorrect in boxing. You know, it takes so much time to cock it from right here from your face, bring it all the way down. You may generate a little bit more power, but it's just so many cons for that, you know.
You saw there's a featherweight Grand Prix. I know you were making a face about it. What do you think about the action going on there in Bellator? I think that Darian Caldwell, AJ McKee, it's a great fight. But what do you think of those dudes?
I agree. You know, AJ McKee's a rising star. I don't know how old he is, but he's very exciting. And Darren Caldwell, he's a beast. Like you said, he was a 35er, correct? Yeah, I'm glad he came up. You know, the most important thing is our health. So good thing he doesn't have to cut those extra 10 pounds. But I would love to jump in there with either or. You know, whether it be soon or in the future. You know, I'm always willing to challenge myself and see where I stand.
You got those two still left. You still got Emmanuel Sanchez, Daniel Weichel, and Pitbull Freire versus Pedro Carvalho. Who do you got as the favorite still in this Bellator $1 million featherweight World Grand Prix?
I think it's going to be Pitbull and AJ at the end, to be honest. You know, they're both bangers. They're proven and they're tested. And, you know, I'm excited to see how it all plays out.
And quickly, how impressive is Cyborg's accomplishment?
Oh, she is amazing, you know. Great human being, so I've heard. And 4 world titles in 4 different organizations. There's not much left to say. She's the GOAT.
And the longevity, a decade of doing this. And I was talking about this yesterday on the radio. I don't know if we combine so far what Holly's done, Misha did, and Ronda did, if it adds up to a decade, just to say incredible longevity also from Cyborg.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, that's amazing.
And one more time, where can everybody get tickets?
From me, you know, check my Facebook out, check out my Instagram, send me some messages. I've got tickets for sale. I'm running a little low, and it is a smaller venue, so if you guys want tickets, get them ASAP.
Cold War 5, Marriott Pyramid, February 7th. Cage Minds will be there with live coverage, or February 8th. I keep getting that mixed up because we just announced on March 7th, March Badness, Matthew Diamond Boy Griego fighting for Frescas Productions, and ABF title fight. CageMinds.com with all the details and particulars. And don't forget to tune in to 610 KNML, the sports animal, this weekend, 11 to 1. I'll be on the mic with Mike Adams. Thanks for tuning in this week to the Caged Minds Red Menace TV Power Hour. Thanks for being here, Andres.
Thank you for having me, Mike. I appreciate it. It was a great time.
The New Mexico High School Coaches Association